This is the Milo Sweet Podcast. It's time to get clear on what you want and get there quickly. Tired of being stuck? Ready to overcome? Want to do difficult? No more excuses. Let's start now. Welcome to the show. Hey, before we get started, I need your help. If you like the show, please like, subscribe, review, and share. You really like the show? Want to put your money where your mouth is? Click donate. I would love your support. Do you have to have it all figured out right now to move forward? The truth is no. Now, I do think you need to have certain components figured out, but sometimes all you have to do is have it figured out that you want to do it and take some action. Something that I realized was you kind of are always figuring it out. So even when you have something, I've had things completely figured out and I'm like, I know I'm going to do this. And then something else comes along and I realize, oh, wait, I don't know if I'm really going to do it the way that I thought because I learned something new. I got a new idea. I got new perspective. And I used to use not having it figured out as a reason not to do things or to freak out or have anxiety or worry that I'm going to fail about it. And now I just realize it's just part of life, that figuring it out is part of life. It's almost like you can never eat enough today for the rest of your life. I mean, like if you could, that would be awesome because I would spend so much other time not cooking and cleaning. But you can't sometimes. So you have to always be figuring out, what am I going to eat? When am I going to eat it? What is it going to be comprised of? It's just something that you have to do. And you don't let your lack of not knowing, like, freak out. Well, it depends on the type of person, but usually we kind of just figure it out and we don't let the lack of not knowing, like, hurt us. So do you have to have your idea, let's say how to homeschool, your business, your family, your life all figured out? No, because life does something super beautiful is it helps you along the way. That's something that I realized is that if you take some action, sometimes help will come along the way. There's things that this year that I know I had figured out. I was ready to roll. I did amazing. And then there's things I did so bad at. And because I don't have the skill, I'm not wired to see it. And I've owned it. And then help comes along the way where people can kindly guide you to a better solution, to get better results, to create a better product. But I wouldn't have gotten the solution or the help unless someone saw that I took action on it. It's interesting because I would say, well, I need this. Like you might need a prototype to take action on a first sale, but sometimes you can make the first sale. Like I've made my first sale without sometimes anything. I didn't even have a website until this year, and I made sales before that from word of mouth, text, campaign, like just figuring it out along the way because I took enough action and it propelled enough momentum or enough, I don't know what the word is, but it propels you further enough or it creates enough speed, or I guess that's momentum. Yeah. To keep you going. It's like enough wood in the fire for you to add. The fire's going. You can add another piece of wood and it's going to stay strong and give you a little bit more. So I think it's important to take the first step and to be okay not having it all figured out. And to know that everyone else that even says they have it figured out, they don't have everything figured out. They might have gone to that destination before you and they can teach you something about it. But please believe that there might be a journey in your life that doesn't match theirs. So they can teach you a concept, but you'll have to filter it and customize it to yourself. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing absolutely wrong with that. And I want to encourage you to take a chance on yourself, your idea, your family, your finances, your health. Take a chance on that. And you don't have to have it all figured out to make progress, to end up a year from now, 5 years from now, doing something more aligned with who you want to grow into. Yeah, and honestly, like I said, the things that you think you have figured out, they don't actually work out the way you think. So there's some things I've had figured out. For example, okay, so I thought I knew how to eat healthy a long time ago. And I was like, I have granola bars, I eat healthy, and I have Subway sandwiches, and I eat, I cook all my meals, and that is a version of healthy. However, I didn't really know that you should have vegetables every day, and that like the best thing to drink was water, and that like corn and potatoes are not necessarily a vegetable. Like if you're thinking like by veggies, I'm like thinking green leafy, like that you should have some of that every day, or at least 5 out of 7 days. Like you should have lots of water. Like I had no idea that you shouldn't have like sugar in every beverage. So I'm like, oh, I make my lemonade. Obviously, that's probably healthier, but I didn't know that there was levels to health. However, staying on the journey for health, it took me a couple years. I figured out my version of healthy, what works for me, what's good for my body. I learned to listen to how things make me feel. And I actually think I like that better, because now I have things about health that are customized to me and my family. Or for business, I started with as a homeschooling mom of 3 kids, which is kind of insane when you think about it. And this was before COVID. So a lot of resources and tools are not customized to you if you homeschool and you have 3 kids in tow all the time. And it's a lot more work. It's just a lot more work initially. And you learn to, like weightlifting, you learn to get those reps in. And after a while, that rep isn't so hard. It's doing that workout isn't as hard. You got to get more weight, more resistance, work out longer, switch it up. And that's what it's like when you don't have it figured out. You start to customize things. If there was a plan, even if there was a plan to say how to homeschool, I did look at a lot of homeschooling plans that I did see where some moms worked, and they honestly didn't really resonate with me, because their why was different and the way they structured their day. It was just a lot of like, basically, here's a to-do list and this is what we're going to do. And I really didn't like that. I love autonomy. So I wanted to be able to figure out what was best for me, why I was doing this, and how could I benefit from this. So if you don't have it all figured out right now, should you still try it? Yes. When? Today. Move towards it today. Figure a part of it out and take some action. Guess what? Did you know that we have this thing? I think it's called a search engine where lots of information is available. There's things called books. You can learn and take deep dives into them, and someone can give you insight into how they figured it out. You could do that. Learning a new skill or new perspective can really help you move forward. But the honest truth is, I think taking action and just thinking about that action, thinking about why did that work? Did that work? Did that not work? No one's, reaching out to me. I tried this business idea and it's not working. Is it a good business idea, or am I going about it wrong? Maybe it requires a certain amount of time, or there's lots of things to figure out, but you will always be figuring it out. Even if you have an amazing plan, you still have to figure out how to implement it in your life. You could literally copy someone else's plan and you still have to figure it out. And then you have to say, I feel like I like this part and I don't. And you have to understand why. So I say just put the action forth, and remember, something will meet you in life and help you, because they'll see the work that you're doing. They'll see the time that you've put into it, and it'll be valuable to them. What's valuable to us is when someone else goes somewhere we want to go and they can tell us about it. So just by putting forth action, you're taking a chance and you're going somewhere someone else wants to go. You're able to tell them about it, even if you don't quite make it yet. But they see, oh, you're getting on the plane, you're packing, you bought the ticket. That still is enough to help someone, right? Remember there was a thing called a travel agent? Are those still a thing? I don't know. If they are, I'm so sorry. I've never used one. I've never had the luxury, so I don't know. But do you know what I mean? That you can totally put yourself in a position to travel somewhere that someone hasn't, and they find that valuable because you're able to share with them. It's our experiences and how we see them and what we learn that's valuable to other people. And it also is valuable to you. I don't want to ever look, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, I don't want to ever look back and say, man, I had this idea and I didn't do it. And it was only because I didn't know how to do it. But, in the 5 or 10 years that I've lived, I found out that I had the tools. And through 2020 hindsight, I realized I had what it took. And I think the truth is we usually always have it somehow, somewhere. We might not have it all at one time. But as life unfolds, things happen. And it's a beautiful journey to help you uncover these ideas, these goals for you, for your family, for, people you want to help do business with. I think that we shouldn't let that be a reason. So if you're looking for 3 ways that you can just jump right in, is figure out a good why. My why is super strong. Even when I'm like so afraid, it forces me forward because the why is so strong. Why do I want to do this? It is deeply embedded in me. And don't pick someone else's why. Pick yours. And yours should be good enough for you. It doesn't have to be good enough for everyone else. My why might not be good enough for other people. That's fine. Who cares? The second thing I think is if you can learn something, if learning something makes you feel good, learning can eliminate your risk. So create some kind of system of learning about the thing that you want to take action on. So if I want to learn about being healthy, I just learn. I don't take action on everything I hear, but I have conversations of health. So every time I look at a YouTube video or read a book, I don't take action on everything. But I look at what's the one thing that if I did that would have the biggest impact on my life, and that's what I stick to. And then the third thing I would say is, where do I want to go? So having a destination is super key because a lot of times we take a lot of action and it actually doesn't really help you get anywhere. It's just like makes you feel good about yourself. It's like, oh, I took 10 sips of water today. Yeah, but like, what's the goal? Is 10 sips really considered hydrated? If the goal is hydration, that's not it. And hydration looks different to everyone each day. And there's different goals for that. So that's not good. If those are the only sips, it's great that you drink only water, but like 10 sips. I don't know your sips. Maybe that you have to describe that to me. It's not good. But have your destination in mind. And as long as you have that, like, how can I get there? It's really key to you. So if I threw it a bonus tip is ask questions. Don't say, I cannot, I'm gonna fail. What if I fail? How can I avoid failure? What if I succeed? What does that look like? How do I get there? What should I do every day or every week to help me get there? Just one thing. And I tend to think about one thing because if you can do that one thing well, that actually makes progress. I find that I struggle with doing 25 things well. Don't do those well. I just want to do 1 or 2 things well. So I'm okay if I embarrass myself and if I do 2 things well and I'm known for those 2 things and I do 23 things not so well, I'm okay with that because I'm known for the 2 things I do well. So focus on like, what's the one thing you want to do well first in this journey and getting to this destination, and reflect on it. Because when you see that you made progress, even if you just use this podcast and you're like, I thought about it, that's progress. Okay, well, how do I get there? Think about it tomorrow. And like, what's one goal? Okay, I want to have my destination picked in 30 days. Maybe you already know. Okay, I want to map my destination out. Now, how I'm going to get there? What's my why? Why is this important to me? And it should be from you, from within. Don't let other people choose your why. Don't let failures, don't let what people think about you, don't let any of that choose your why, because one day you're going to solve it and then your why's over. It's just over. Your why should be something, I think it should be like, it's still a good reason when you're 70, 80, 90, 100. Like, it's a good reason. It's like a generational good reason. It doesn't have to be like, if you feel like, well, I don't know, that means like, oh, why would be, hey, I want to change my family tree. I want to be able to look at my kids when they're adults and know that I gave them my all, and that I've sown the seeds for my generation to change, for this legacy to change. I want to know that. I want to know that the person that I say that I am to them is the person that I show up as, that my actions match that. And so that's, to me, what has guided me on my journey is I start solving problems from that. And then I realize, oh, I got to learn this new thing if I want to not be a hypocrite, because I'm telling my kids to do that. So it's kind of been a journey that way. But I think the biggest thing is, like, don't let not knowing stop you. We all don't know at some point until we learn it, till we know it. You got this. Carpe diem. No, like, seriously. Carpe diem. Now. Right now. All right, that's another episode in the books. Hello? I said it's over. Why are you still listening? Like, seriously, the episode is over. If you're still listening right now, you know what? You're probably a chronic procrastinator. Guess what? I'm still listening to. Come on, for real, seriously. We gotta go do something productive. No, like, for real. No, for real. Okay, you can keep listening.